Okay? So, huwag kayong matakot, no? Nakasulat sa screen is quiz number 2, pero hindi talaga quiz to, no? This is more of a guided na parang seat work lang. So, I advise na lahat kayo while we're doing this session, nakabukas yung mga spreadsheet programs, you know. So, whether that spreadsheet program is Google Forms or Google Sheets or yung Excel or pwede rin sa phone, no? So, kahit anong spreadsheet program na meron kayo, just open them right now. Tapos, gagamitin natin siya for today's activity. And wait lang, class. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So, for today, we'll be doing permutations and combinations. So, first part ng probability to. And if we have more time, pwede rin mag-proceed tayo with distributions, no? Pero most likely, yung distributions, i-discuss na natin next week. Okay? So, yung quiz, hindi lahat ng modules no may quiz. So, ang gagawin lang natin is whenever I feel na yung topic requires much attention, no? So, yun yung time na magbibigay ako ng quiz. So, if you'll notice doon sa Google Classrooms natin, yung kabilang class is meron silang quiz about about descriptive stat. Pero in our case, kahit hindi ganun ka-extensive yung quiz na gagawin ko, no? So I'll probably do just a simple multiple choice quiz and ilagay ko lang sa uvlet na lang siguro. It's a simple quiz, maybe a 10-point item quiz lang, tapos just take the time to take the quiz, tapos you can do the quiz at any time, no, before the first long exam. And siguro timed exam yun. I think yung default time is 2 hours and multiple takes ata siya. Or I think maximum of 2 takes. Parang ganun. So siguro ganun yung gagawin natin. Pero for quizzes or for mga topics na that requires much attention, no, like yung lalo na yung mga yung hypothesis testing tsaka estimation, I'll probably do a longer quiz for those. Tapos gagawin natin siya in one synchronous session. So the way I like to do quizzes is um papasok tayo during synchronous sessions. Tapos gagawin natin yung quiz pwede kayong mag-approach sa akin para ano no, para magtanong about the quiz. So it's a sort of guided quiz yan, no? So while you're doing your quiz, pwede kayong mag-raise. Hindi ko pa alam kung paano ko set up. No? I'll probably do, if you're familiar with gather.town, baka parang ganun yung gagawin ko para at least if may magko-consult sa inyo, hindi maririnig ng mga kaklase nyo, no? Okay? So, next time, napakita ko na ba yung gather.town sa inyo? Hindi pa. Na-mention ko ba? Ilalagay ko sa, hindi ko kasi maalala yung ito. Gather.town. Hindi pa? Okay, sige. Pero ipakita ko sa inyo, medyo fun tool siya, guys, no, na that can be very useful sa ano natin, para sa class natin. So, pagka nag-quiz na tayo, we'll do this setup, no, itong gather.town. Okay, so for now, ang gagawin lang natin is parang walkthrough lang, guided na um, seat work. And again, lahat kayo dapat nakabukas yung mga Excel files nyo para ready tayo to answer the different questions na ibibigay ko for today. Okay? So the first question is ito. So meron daw tayong 5-digit number or a 5-digit number is formed using the digits 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 without repeating any one of them. So what is the sum of all such possible numbers? Okay? So I'll give you some time to think about it, no? Again, ang gagamitin lang natin today, class, is puro permutation combinations lang, no? I'm under the assumption na nabasa nyo yung lecture about it, no? Yung permutation computation. Pero just to give you an overview of what permutation and combinations are. Pag sinabing permutation, this is the set of ways that we can rearrange a data set into a particular arrangement where the order matters. Tapos pagka combination naman, it's much the same way, no? It's a set of ways you can rearrange your data set into an arrangement, pero and this time the order does not matter. So pagka sinabing permutation, this is think of a parang siyang list, parang where the order of that list matters. Pero pag sinabi nating combination, para siyang groups. Okay? Pag combination, it's a group where order does not matter. Pero pagka permutation, it's a list where order matters. Yun yung key difference sa kanya. And the relevant na formula in Excel is permute. That's for permutation. And yung sa combination, it's combine or combine. Okay. Nilagay ko na rin yung sagot, guys, no? Yung ang sagot is 6,666,600. So try to arrive at this answer. Okay, meron bang nakakuha or close to answering it? Or at least may idea ba kayo kung ano yung best way to approach this? This is a little bit tricky, guys, no, kung paano natin siya isosolve. Okay, sirit na ba? Okay. Russell has a solution. Hmm. Can you provide an explanation, Russell, kung bakit ganyan yung solution mo? I'm not quite sure. Medyo brute force kasi yung ginamit kong method, no? At least for my solution. But again, there are multiple solutions for this one. You can use your mic, Russell, no?
Ay, sige po. Tina-time ko po kasi actually. Pero ano po,
Chat mo na lang.
ah, yung feel ko po kasi,
Mm.
dahil evenly spaced naman po yung 1, 3, 5, 7, tsaka 9.
Mm.
Edi yun na po yung parang magiging lowest. Tapos, kapag binaligtad mo siya, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, yun yung highest na pwedeng ma-produce. Tapos kapag ni-rearrange mo tong lahat ng to, lagi siyang may ka-pair na parang ano, so parang inadd ko yung 1 to 100 ta's dinivide sa 2 parang gano'n. Yung
Mm.
mga pairs po nila. Tapos
Mm.
po, ayun po 5P5 is 120 ta's pinag-times ko po, ayun po, lumabas po yung 666 yan po.
Hmm. Okay, that's a very interesting approach, no? And I think that could work also, no? And uh, that's good, no? Kasi again, wala namang fix na ano, no, solution dito. And if you got the correct answer, then that's well and good, no? And yung solution naman na pinropose ni Russell, makes sense, no? Kasi parang sinasabi ni Russell na itong 13579 tsaka 97531, same yung parang may ka-pair sila parati na same yung sum. Tama? So parang in-average mo siya, kaya mo
Yes po,
dinivide by
opo.
2. Okay.
Pero ano po siya, parang applicable po siya kasi in the case na 'to parang even
Mm.
po yung spacing po ng numbers po.
Mm. Okay, that could work, no? Pero I'll just show my solution as well, unless meron pang iba na merong unique solutions. Wala na. Okay. So ito medyo brute force na method 'to, no? So what we do is, since meron tayong ano, um, try muna natin i-fix yung ones digit, yung units place, no? So kung gagawin natin is i-fix natin yung units place, and we arrange, if we fix that dun sa units place, then the number of ways na pwede natin i-arrange yung other digits will be 4 factorial. Okay? So parang kunwari, ito yung ilagay ko na lang dito, no? So it's a 5-digit number. So that's meron tayong ones, tapos ito yung 10, ito yung 100, tapos ito yung ano next, 10, 100. I-ano ko na lang, no? 1, 10, hundreds place, 1,000s place, tapos 10,000s place, and 5 digit na ba yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Parang ganyan. So, ang solution na na-come up ko is, you arrange it, tingnan muna natin yung ano, no, sa ones place. Pag ones place, if we fix the digit 1 dito, then we have 4 remaining digits. So, yung brute force method kasi is if you have 4 digits, so itong ditong sa part na to, there are 4 ways to arrange this. Sige, if we do brute force method, no, so meron tayong 4 places. So the way we do it is, kung meron tayong 4 remaining numbers, di ba? Yung kasi meron tayong given tayo ng 5 numbers, that's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay? So kung 1 na dito, i-fix na natin si 1 dito, then this is 4. We have 4 numbers dito. Then we have only 3 numbers remaining dito, 2 numbers remaining dito, and 1 number remaining dito. So, if you read the handouts, no, tsaka yung ano, modules natin, you'll notice na if a procedure or a process can be arranged in n ways, and this is in tandem with another process that can be arranged in n2 n sub 2 ways, then yung total ways na pwede mo i-arrange yung particular process na yon, or yung number na yon, is n sub 1 times n sub 2. Tapos kung if you have multiple, then i-multiply mo lang siya lahat. So ito, yung remaining 4 digits dito, yung preceding the number 1, will give you 4 factorial, no? So that's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So again, we can do equals fact ng 4. That's 24. Okay, so there are 24 ways to do this. Therefore, there are 24 numbers that end with the number 1. Parang ganon. Okay? So, if that's the case, yung sum ng digits place, yung unit, etong dito sa units place, for that, those 24 numbers will be 24. That makes sense, no? Kasi kunwari, yung, just to give you an example, no? Kunwari, 3, 7, 9 and 5. Tapos 7, 3, 5, and 9. And I'm just doing two random numbers, no? So if you if you did all the permutations dito, tapos nasa ones place parati, nasa units place parati yung number 1 na to, then you will create 24 unique numbers or unique permutations where 1 is in the units place. So if you add all those numbers, yung dulo na ano niya, yung sa units place, ang sum ng units place niya will be 24. Okay? That makes sense, no? So we can do that for all the other numbers. No? So for example, if you do 5 dito, then yung permutation ng ano dito sa side na to, will also be 24. You can arrange this in 24 number of ways. Tama? So if that's the case, then yung sa first digit, yung all possible na sums nila is 24. So parang if I have 1, 3, 7, 5, 5, 7, and 9, then I should get equals times ito. Then I should get something like ito. And if I sum this, oh, equals sum ng ito. Then I should get 600. Okay? So sum ng itong ano na to, first sa units or the ones place is 600. So I can keep repeating that, no? So kunwari, i-fix ko naman dito sa tens place yung number 1. So I should get instead of 24, ang makukuha ko is 240 kasi nasa tens place na siya. Tama? Parang ganun or rather more accurately instead of nasa 1 siya, magiging 10 siya, 30, 50, 70, and 90 kasi nasa tens place siya. So that's 6,000. Tapos if you do it for all numbers, you get something like 600, tapos 6,000, then 60,000, then 600,000, and yung last is 6 million. So if you take the sum, these numbers, then you get etong 6,666,600. Okay? So ito, medyo brute force method to, no? So again guys, ang ano naman natin is etong lalo na si ano no si for mga probability problems, pwede naman yung brute force method yung gamitin natin. Okay? Tapos pero I think okay din yung ginawa ni Russell, no? It's a straightforward formula and the formula makes sense. Tapos nakakuha din naman ng same number, no. Ito one-liner lang yung ginamit niya and we arrived at the same results. So depending na lang sa inyo, no, kung paano niyo mas nai-imagine yung isang problem. Tsaka kayo pumili ng appropriate solution. And hindi limited sa ano, no, kunwari pwedeng actually combination of brute force method pati yung parang gagamit kayo ng formula. It can work, it can also work yung mga ganun, no. Okay? So nagme-make sense ba yung first problem natin? Okay ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good, no? So let's try another problem. So a man has 9 friends, 4 boys and 5 girls. In how many ways can he invite them if there has to be exactly 3 girls in the invitees? Okay? Again, I'll give you a few minutes to think about it para ma-absorb niyo yung problem. If you have a question about the problem, and I think you probably have, no? Just raise it in the either chat box or gamitin niyo yung mic niyo. Okay, that's a good question, no? Meron bang limit? Walang limit. So yun, isa yan sa clue, no, sa magiging solution nyo. Walang limit yung total number of people na kailangan mo i-invite. So again, the answer is given, no? So try to arrive at 160. Okay? Meron bang naka-arrive at the answer? Okay, just work on it. Siguro 5 more minutes. So for today, meron naman tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 problems lang naman. So I think we have more than enough time, no, para i-work on to mga problems na to. Okay, so pwede ko siguro ibigay na yung solution, no? So again, out of the 5 girls, kailangan 3 are invited, no? So parang if we imagine it, let me go to my Excel, no? Oh my God, Excel. So kung i-imagine natin siya, para siyang, eto sure tayo na this should be filled out by the girls. Eto. tong part na 'to. So, let's just, color this. Pero hindi sinabi kung ilang boys yung kailangan invite 'no, pero yung maximum na pwede natin ma-invite is obviously, 9, tama? Kasi we have, meron siyang 9 friends, eh. Okay, so if i-invite niya itong girls na 'to, so that is, taking 3 girls out of a possible 5, then that should be combination siya 'no, tama? Kasi the order does not matter. So we are taking, um, out of 5, 3 yung kukunin natin. So that's 10 possible combinations. Okay? Tapos, there are, no, walang sinabi about the boys 'no. So you can have, 0 boys na in-invite, 1 boy, 2 boys, 3 boys, or, 4 boys. Tama? So with that, meron tayong, 24 ways, or 24 nga ba? 16 actually. 16 ways na pwede tayong magkaroon ng different na combinations 'no, or the number of ways na pwedeng piliin yung number of boys na na kasama dun sa invites. Tama? So why is it, 16? Because, again, pwede tayong magkaroon ng 0, puwedeng 1, puwedeng 2, 3, and 4, and 5 'no, tama? And that's the all boys, 4 boys. Wait lang, meron tayong 4 boys 'no? Okay. So, if you were this is one way, yung 0, yung 1 is if you have 1, then this is equals combine ng 'tong number na 'to out of ano, sorry, out of ilang boys yun, 4, ganyan. Ayan, puwede tanggalin pala natin, up to 4 boys lang pala yung invite 'no, okay. So, kung kunwari isang boy lang yung in-invite niya, then, ang number of ways na puwedeng i-invite yung 1 boy na yun is, etong 1 na 'to. Okay, so if we drag this down and we took the sum, we should get, 16. Oh, so 15 'to kasi, plus the 1 way dito. So, meron pa pala. Will it work? Hindi ko sure, wait lang. Oh, 1 nga. So, eto, you have 1 way of inviting no boys out of a possible 4 boys, which makes sense 'no? Kasi kung, 1 way lang naman na 0 yung invite mo, and in the same way, you have, um, 4 boys, you can have, 1 way of inviting all of the 4 boys. Kasi since combination 'to, then, group siya. So if you take the sum, then eto yung number of ways na yung boys ay puwedeng i-invite, okey? So kung eto yung number of ways na puwedeng i-invite ang boys, at eto yung number of ways na puwedeng i-invite ang girls, then again, ah yung multiplication property ng probabilities states that kung ito yung number of ways na ma-invite yung isang, process, this is the n sub 1 ways we can invite, the girls, and this is n sub 2 ways we can invite, and that is for the boys. Then for this entire process, yung number of ways na total is just equal to, n sub 1 times n sub 2, parang ganyan. So if we do that, 10 times 16 gives us 160. Okay? Nagme-make sense ba 'yon? So, siguro baka ang issue niyo dito guys is bakit, dito nag-multiply tayo pero dito sa parang itong combinations na 'to nag-add tayo. Okay? So, um, usually it all boils down to yung paano natin yung logic behind the ano 'no, the number of ways or the probability. So, if we mean and, that entails multiplication. If we say or, that entails addition. Tama? So notice na dito class, ito is the number of ways na yung boys ay pwede ma-arrange. So or to, di ba? Kasi it can be 0 boys or 1 boy or 2 boys or 3 boys or 4 boys. Tama? So kaya siya inad natin yung number of ways. Pero dito, sa case na to, is dapat ito yung number of ways na girls and multiplied by the number of ways for boys. Ito. So this is the girls, this is the boys. So kaya, kasi since it's an and, parang and yung logic na ginagamit, dapat multiplication yung ginagawa natin. And this applies for kahit probability, no? So kunwari this is the kunwari lang probability yung kinukuha natin instead of the number of ways, which is similar lang naman, no? I-divide lang naman natin siya. If you have the number of ways, divide natin by the total number of ways, gives us probability. Okay? So, kunwari, probability yung nakuha natin, same logic applies, no? Kung and yun, so kunwari, what is the probability of na ang makuha kong girl ay si ganito and yung makuha kong boy is ganito. Pag ganon, when we're doing probabilities, i-multiply natin yung probability na yun. Pero pagka sinabi nating probability na ganito or probability na ganito, gagawin natin is i-add natin yung probabilities. Okay? Okay. I think that makes sense, no? And you can read more on the modules, no, para mas makita niyo yung applications ng ano. Pero again, itong number of ways is very much or intimately related siya sa probability, no? Okay, let's proceed with another problem. So, questions. Question about the solution. Did the solution make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you for the feedback. So, ito yung n ways. Total ways. Pwede kong i-send siguro sa inyo tong class, no? Itong sheet na to na ginawa ko. Although, medyo disorganized yung no, yung pagka niya, layout. So, kayo na bahala mag-make sense. Okay lang ba 'yun? So, at least nakalagay naman yung formula na ginamit ko. Okay? So, try nyo na lang i-make sense kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng mga numbers. Pero I'll try my best na i-try ko i-reorganize to before I send them to you guys. Sa Uvle. By the way, Uvle na tayo ulit. Tapos, I'll try to update yung Google Classroom pa rin. Pero primarily yung Uvle yung i-update ko. So, whenever Uvle goes down, baka doon ako mag-focus sa Google Classroom ulit. Okay? Okay. And if you're wondering sa ano natin, doon siya sa part naglagay na actually ako ng parang forum. So if you look at the my course, tayo sa yung my course sa triple M, meron tayong parang miscellaneous files. Parang forum siya. So if I could just general. So ito, may nilagay akong ditong WFRU miscellaneous file. So click nyo lang siya. Tapos hopefully ikita nyo yung no. So meron tayong ito yung groupings, may Zoom details, ito yung synchronous session. Lahat ng synchronous session dadagdag ko. Tapos siguro magdadagdag ako dito ng isa pang no, parang forum which is for all the parang files na gagamitin natin or yung ginamit natin for today. So i-properly arrange ko na lang siya. Okay? For reference lang kung in case kailangan nyo. Okay, so balik tayo dito. So balik tayo sa natin. Next problem. Next problem. So, an intelligence agency forms a code of 2 distinct digits from 0 to 9 such that the first digit of the code is non-zero. Okay, so first digit is non-zero and the code is handwritten on a slip and and because of this, it can, however, cause potential confusion, no? So, when read upside down, so for example, yung 91 may appear as 16. Tama? Kasi handwritten lang kasi siya eh. So, how many codes are there for which no such confusions can arise? Ito, this is a very clever na problem, no? So again, I'll give you around 5 minutes siguro. Then I'll give the solution. Actually, I lied pala. 6 problems tayo um, for combinations and permutations, pero kailangan pa natin mag-discuss ng yung mga probability distributions, no? Yung hypergeometric, tsaka yung binary, tsaka yung ano yung isa? Yung Poisson. So, meron pang additional problems bukod doon. Bukod dito sa 6. Okay, may nakakuha ba ng sagot? Ah, mali na pala yung Okay, ito. Okay, so how do we get 71? Arthur has an explanation 9 times 9 minus 4 times 5. So, how did you arrive at it, Arthur?
Yung first na 9 is because hindi pwede na 0 yung una. So that's just
Okay.
1 to 9. Tapos yung
Okay.
second digit is pwede naman na 0 to 9.
Mm.
Pero minus 1 kasi distinct dapat.
Okay, good.
So 10 minus 1. So 9 times
Mm.
9, which is 81. Tapos yung mga numbers na ang way lang na magkaroon ng confusion is if kapag yung dalawang numbers na distinct is dapat silang dalawa kapag ibaliktad mo, they will still look like a number or another na number.
Okay.
So yung numbers na yun is 0, 1, 6, 8, and 9. 5 sila. Pero again, hindi pwede 0. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So yung 4. Tapos yung the rest na lang ang natira sa other na yung natira is yung 5.
Okay, that's good. No? Actually, ganun din yung solution ko. So, I probably can't, hindi ko na i-expound, no? So, very good, Arthur, no? So, siguro pwede kong ipakita is yung kung paano lang in-imagine ni Arthur, no? So, if I go to my, so ito yung sinasabi ni Arthur class, no? So, parang inano niya na ito yung first digit. So, ito yung first, dito. Kasi ito yung second digit or Baliktarin natin. First digit, second digit. So parang ang sinasabi ni Arthur kanina is kaya siya 9 times 9 kasi you have dito sa first digit, kailangan hindi siya zero. Tama ba? Yun yung sinasabi ng problem, no? So there are 10 available pero hindi pwede zero. That's why 9 na lang siya. Tama? Tapos since meron kang kinuha na dito na digit, so for example, if you input 4 dito, then si 4 matatanggal na sa pool. So kaya yung number of digits na pwede na dito is that's 9 times that's 10 minus 1. So nakabalik na kasi si 0, pwede na kasi ulit si 0 dito sa pool of numbers na pwede natin ano. Kaya siya 9 times 9. So kaya ito yung sinasabi na ni Arthur na the first term, no, 9 times 9. So this is the number of ways na pwedeng i-arrange yung two digits, no? Or pwede rin ang isa ding solution is we can do combine ng 10 minus sorry. We have 10 numbers taken 2 at a time. Pero magma-minus tayo ng no, sorry. Magma-minus tayo ng 9 numbers, no? Kasi these are the 9 numbers which have wait lang. "81 ways." 2 at a time. Dapat mag-work to. Wait lang, class. Let me think about it. This will work equally as well, no? Kasi meron tayo.
Sir,
Yes, go ahead.
ano po yung answer kanina? 71 po, di ba po?
Mm.
Yung sa kay Arthur po kasi parang 61 po yung lalabas.
Mali ako, sorry.
61. Wait lang,
Ngayon
pero
ko lang din realize.
tama yung ginawa ni Arthur. Wait lang, baka
Opo, pero parang ganyan din po yung solution ko kasi actually.
oo, wait lang. 1 ano yung confusing numbers? 1 6 9
8, 9, tapos 0 kung sa second digit.
okay. Ang 1 6 9 8 at 0. So, ang kailangan natin mag-brute force pala dito kasi babawasan natin si 88 kasi hindi siya confusing. So, isa yan. Tama? Kasi pag binaliktad mo si 88, 88 pa rin siya. 69 is also one of those numbers. Pag binaliktad, 69 pa rin. 96. Tapos, ano pa ba? 11. And, meron pa ba?
0, 0, sir. Pwede ba yun? Ay, di pala Ay,
Kasi
sir.
hindi.
Ano pala, sir, sabi doon distinct numbers yung pinaproduce.
Distinct ba sabi?
Ata.
So, dapat, lang Sige nga, sige. Kung ito, i-ano muna natin to, no? This is 9 times 9. Tapos, babawasan natin yung number of ways na meron tayong confusing number. Eight and 0, 1. Okay. So, ito, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a pool of 5. So, pero bawal ang 0. So, kaya siya, 4 times 4 lang dapat, Arthur. Hindi 4 times 5. 16 minus 16 gives you 65. Tapos, ibabalik natin yung wait lang. plus 2. So, ilan yung utang natin? Minus. May 6 numbers tayo. So, meron dito na may combination dito na 6 of which na hindi dapat confusing. $81. Hello. 18. Wait lang, class, 1 and 8, 18. Dalawa lang to eh. Kulang pa tayo. Two. Ilang class Ito yung 2 natin. Tapos lahat ng 0. Mhm. Basically, ang gagawin natin class is ibabalik natin yung lahat ng ah, just to illustrate, no? Parang ang kailangan kasi natin is kumbaga na-list na natin yung number of ways na makakapag-produce tayo ng numbers, 2-digit numbers from the pool of 10. Tapos, binawas natin yung numbers na merong confusing numbers, no? Itong 1, 6, 9, 8, and 0. Pero, kailangan natin ibalik yung mga numbers na pag binaliktad mo, kahit nagko-contain siya ng confusing numbers, hindi naman confusing. Such numbers are etong 69. Kasi pag binaliktad mo, 69 pa rin siya. So, hindi siya confusing at all. Tapos 96. Tapos, yung mga 8. Yung 8 dapat hindi siya confusing. Tama ba? Dalawa lang eh. So, dapat 67. Kulang pa tayo ng 4. Ano yung 4 na yun? Sige, sige. Wait lang, class. Let me check my notes. Okay.
Sir, may nakuha ko po siya.
Okay. Sige, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ano po, 'di ba po 81 po yung
Mm.
hindi po pala pwede kasali yung 0 kasi po kapag binaligtad kunwari yung 10, magiging magiging 0 yung first digit po.
Which is bawal, okay.
Opo. Ta's po ang ginawa ko po, pinag-pair-pair ko na lang po, brute force na lang po.
Hmm.
Yung 4 na numbers po, pinag-pair ko po sila by 2. So, 4 choose 2 po pala yun. So, 12 po lahat yun. 16, 18, 19. Ta's pininus ko po yung 69 tsaka 96. So, 10
Hmm,
lang po yung ano. So, 81
okey.
minus 10.
Tama, tama. I get your line of thought 'no. Sino yung kausap ko, si Arthur ba yun?
Si Russell po.
Russell. Good Russell 'no. So, mukhang ang mali lang natin is etong part na 'to kasi zero hindi siya kasama sa pool ng confusing numbers. Kasi, hindi siya confusing dahil bawal 'pag binaliktad naman siya, magge-gets niyo agad na bawal yun, yung first digit. So, kaya 4 times 3 lang dapat 'to. So, -12 tapos ibabalik natin yung two unique numbers na puwedeng and ito yung in-explain ni Russell 'no, na yung two unique numbers ibabalik niya which is ang gagawin lang is ipa-plus lang niya 'to 'no. So, that becomes equals eto -12 plus 2, two numbers. Parang gano'n. Thank you, Russell 'no. Okay, so that gives us 71. So, dito tayo medyo na-confuse pala kasi sinama natin si 0 dun sa confusing numbers na list. When in fact, etong 1, 6, 9, and 8 lang dapat ang confusing. Okay? And that's problem 3. Next, proceed tayo sa next problem. Okay, next problem. So, in a photo, there are 3 families, 6 greens, 4 browns, and 7 grays, and they are arranged in a row. The browns had an argument, uh, have had an argument, so no brown will stand next to each other. Tapos, how many different permutations are permitted? So medyo ano 'to 'no, medyo challenging 'to na problem guys 'no. The best way to do this is, combination siya ng, brute force pati, ah, yung ano, formulas. So, just a clue guys 'no, ang suggestion ko para mas maano niyo, imagine niyo try niyo imagine na, meron tayong parang ganitong positions. So, kunwari ilan yun, ang total positions is ilan yun? 6, 4 plus 7. So, that's 17 positions. So, yun yung, i-try nyo imagine. So, may 17 positions kayo na ganyan. Tapos, tingnan nyo kung ilan yung possible na dapat pwedeng mailagay for that particular position. Okay? Pwede tayong mag-discuss na siguro sa answer, no? So, this is quite difficult because um, parang masyadong madaming persons na kailangan tingnan, no? And if we try to do brute force, medyo matagal yung magiging solution or matagal natin ma-reach yung solution, no? So, the best way to think about this is, 'di ba sabi ko, meron tayong 17 people. Pero note that all of the non-browns, yung from the other families, no? So from the grays and the green ba yung isa? Kalimutan ko. The greens. So si gray and greens, pwede naman silang i-arrange in any way, no? It's just that si browns hindi sila pwedeng magkasama. Okay? So pwedeng instead of looking at the browns first, pwedeng gawin natin is actually tama yung sagot ni Aliyah, no? Good job, Aliyah. That's actually the right answer, no? So yung explain ko lang kung bakit 13 factorial times 14 combination 4, may kulang pa ata na value dyan. Tama ba? Equals fact 13 times combine of 14. Kulang pa siya. May kulang pa na factor dyan. Yan. Yan. I-multiply mo pa by 4 factorial. Okay. Good job, Aliyah. I-multiply ba by factorial 4. Okay? So, ito dapat yung sagot mo. So, it's a very large number, no? So, the way Aliyah did it, or kung gusto mo ba ikaw mag-explain, Aliyah? Are you there? May mic ka ba, Aliyah?
Meron po, sir.
Go ahead, i-explain mo yung
Kasi po
solution mo.
yung inuna ko po, yung mga
Mm-mm.
hindi po browns.
Yes, good.
Teka lang po, tingnan ko lang po ulit yung problem.
Okay. I-ano ko na lang.
So sabi po dun 6 greens daw po, tsaka 7 grays. Kaya
Mm.
po, yun po yung, so 6 plus 7 po, yun po yung 13.
Mm-mm.
Tapos po, meron po tayong 14 pa po na kailangan po natin ng 4 places po para sa mga browns po na yun.
Mm-mm.
Yung natitira po natin.
Oo.
Kaya
So,
po, 14 choose 4.
oo.
I-multiply po natin.
Yung 14, saan mo nakuha yun, Aliyah?
Yung gaps po dun sa places po
Mm-mm.
natin.
Okay, good. Yung gaps plus, technically dapat 12 lang, di ba? 12 lang yung gap. Kasi 13 people, 12 lang yung gap. Yung 2 is because pwede siyang sa dulo, tama? Pwedeng sa pinakadulo, sa right side, or pwede kadulo sa left side. Tama, Aliyah, no? Yun yung sinasabi mo?
Opo.
Good. Sige, go ahead.
Tapos po yung natitira po natin na 4 choices po to put the browns po dun sa mga i-fill po natin na spaces. Multiply po ulit.
Mm-mm.
Gaya po dun sa sinabi niyo po kanina na
Okay. That's good.
yung pag-multiplication.
Mm-mm. So, kaya siya 4 factorial kasi 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Parang gano'n, no? Okay. So, thank you. That's a good solution, Aliyah, no? And siguro, I'll just add on to the solution of Aliyah, and good job, Aliyah. Um, ipakita ko lang visually, no, kung ano yung sinasabi ni Aliyah. So, if these are the 13 non-browns, parang ito yung 13 factorial. Ito yung 13 places na pwede silang mag-arrange. So, kaya siya 13 factorial kasi 13 times 12 times 11 times 10, so on and so forth. Yun yung first brute force na ginawa natin. Tapos, ang sinasabi ni Aliyah kanina na gaps is, yung 4 browns kasi pwede natin isingit, kunwari, in between 1 and the first position and second position. Pwedeng dito. pwedeng diyan, pwedeng dito, pwedeng diyan. So in between these gaps. So since
Hello po.
there
Sorry sir, sorry na ano po ako, na-disconnect
hello?
po ako.
Ah,
Okay na po.
okay na
Sige
po.
po.
Okay na. Thank
Okay.
you, Aliyah.
Sige
Okay.
po.
Good job sa answer. That was what I was saying nung na-disconnect ka. Okay. So, ay pinapakita ko lang yung visualization nung answer mo para just in case hindi masyadong na-gets ng mga estudyante ng kaklase mo, no? Okay, so ito yung sinasabi ni Aliyah, 13 na na positions tapos i-fill in natin yung gaps with browns. So that's ilang gaps yon? We have one gap dito. Since there are 13 people, dapat meron tayong 12 gaps in between. Pero pwede naman na nandito sa dulo si Brown, di ba? So pwedeng nasa ano siya, kumbaga nasa either pinaka rightmost na dulo or leftmost na dulo. Kaya ang ginawa ni Aliyah is 14. 14 combination 4. So 14 combination 4 kasi parang may 14 slots ka tapos 4 lang naman yung kailangan mo which is for the non-brown for the browns. So kaya siya 14 combination 4. Tapos yung last niya is yung 4 slots na isisingit since may ways pa na pwedeng isingit yung mga browns doon, binroot force na niya kaya 4 factorial. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay? So, very interesting yung problem na to, no? Parang you'll have to come up with mga unique ways para ma-solve talaga siya. So, let's proceed with, we can probably do this as our last na ano, no? Last na lang siguro to natin na problem. Tapos, break tayo at around parang baka 9:55. Tapos, 10 o'clock onwards, proceed tayo with yung mga discrete probability distributions, no? Okay? So let's try this. Find the number of triangles that can be formed using 14 points in a plane such that 4 points are collinear.
Sir, hindi po naman makita yung problem.
Ay, sorry. My bad. Ito. Ito na yung, ang answer should be 360. So I hope you can imagine kung anong ibig sabihin nito, ano, no? 14 collinear, 14 points. Tapos 4 points are collinear. Okay, may nakakuha ba guys? So, this solution is fairly simple lang, no? So, I'll just show it. So, meron daw tayong 14 points. So, out of those 14 points, kaya natin mag-create ng mga triangles, no? Just by connecting 3 of those points. Tama? So, if we did, for example, combination 14 and we choose 3 points, then it should give us 364. Ito yung number of ways na meron tayong the number of ways na pwedeng um, makapag-produce tayo ng triangle if the 14 points were parang randomly placed, no, and none of those points were collinear. But since there are 4 collinear points, then out of those 4 collinear points, parang kailangan lang na hindi tayo hindi natin mapili yung 4 points na yon. Okay? So parang ang gagawin natin is ilang ways para sa 4 points na to makakapag-produce tayo ng triangle. And that is we have 4 ways. Okay? So if we take 360 tapos bawasan natin yung 4 ways, then 364 minus the 4, then we have 360. Okay? Nagme-make sense ba 'yon? So ulit, no? Itong 364, ito yung number of ways na makakapag-produce tayo ng triangles out of the 14 points if those 14 points were all scattered and none of them are collinear. Pero since meron tayong mga collinear points, then or in this problem meron tayong 4 na specific collinear points, no? So kailangan ibawas natin dito sa 364 na yon yung number of dito sa 364 ways na to, ibawas natin yung mga selections wherein uh, nag-create tayo ng triangles out of those 4 points kasi imposible kasi mag-create ng 4 points doon sa collinear triangle na 'yan, no? So if I could show you a representation siguro, no? So, okay, so parang ganito. So kunwari meron tayong mga random points, no? Tapos scattered siya around. Pero nagkataon na merong 4 points that are collinear. Kunwari nandito. So obviously, hindi tayo pwede tayong mag-create ng mga triangles dito, no? Kunwari ito, we can create triangles like that. Pero etong 4 points na to, hindi natin pwedeng mag-create ng triangle kasi if we try to create a triangle, para maki-create lang natin isang line kasi collinear nga sila. So out of these 4 points, kailangan hanapin natin yung number of ways na makapag-produce tayo ng 3 points that belong to these 4 collinear na points. Tama? So if we get those number of ways, then ibawas lang natin siya sa total para makuha yung total number of ways na makapag-produce tayo ng triangles that are not fake triangles or that are not linear because of the collinearity of the 4 points. So kaya siya, yung final answer natin is ganito. Okay? Malinaw ba?
Yes po,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for the feedback. So right now, pwede siguro tayo mag 5-minute break. So parang naka-reach na tayo ng kalahati sa 3-hour session natin. So break muna tayo tapos balik tayo dito alas 10 sakto. Okay, so 10 a.m. start ulit tayo ng panibagong set of problems and this time we'll be dealing with yung probability distribution, discrete probability distribution functions. Okay, so see you after around 6 minutes, guys. Okay, I think we can restart now. So we have quiz 3. This is all about discrete probability distributions. And let me just show. Okay. So let's start with problem 1. A group of students conducted a simple study regarding the frequency of rain occurrence in Quezon City to predict the amount of rain in a week. And shown below is the data they gathered during their 8-week observation. What is the probability that that it will rain at least thrice in 2 weeks? Okay. Bigyan ko kayo ng parang 5 minutes or to absorb the problem. Tapos pakita ko sa inyo yung solution. Saan sasagutan? Excel? Mas okay sa Excel. Number 1 pa tayo ngayon number 1. Ay tama ba pag-intindi ko sa question mo, Martin? Hello? Narinig ba ako? Again, hindi to quiz. Sorry. Naka-label kasi na quiz number 3 no. This is we're just doing a seat work, guided seat work. So bale sabay-sabay tayo gagawa nito. Okay lang, sorry. Nakalagay kasi quiz no. Ah ano lang kasi ako, gumamit ako ng parang old quizzes para as examples for today. Okay? Okay, so tingin nyo, ano yung type of probability distribution to? Yun yung first, in any distribution problem class, no? Dapat, unang-una, dapat i-identify nyo kung ano yung probability distribution na yun. So we have 3, no? If you read your modules, tama ba? Nabasa nyo ba yung modules nyo? Or sa Friday nyo pa mababasa to? Let me look at the course guide quickly. Ay, iba to. Si hypothesis testing na tayo next week. Tapos probability this week. Okay? So, are you familiar with the 3 types of distribution? Yung Poisson, hypergeometric, tsaka binomial? Nabasa nyo ba? This is supposed to be module. Ang module yun. Let me look. Module 4, all about probability. Baka binabasa pa ng iba, hindi pa mas. Gusto nyo ba with regards to etong parang timings kung kailan tayo nagbabasa ng modules. Gusto nyo ba na Friday na lang tayo mag-meet? Similar to ES1? Kasi kung Wednesday tayo nagbi-meet, I'll be discussing problems na baka hindi nyo pa nabasa for that week. Or kayo, kung comfortable kayo sa Wednesday, okay lang din sa akin. So right now, okay lang ba sa atin 'tong ganitong setup? Guys, feedback? Hello? Kahit sa chat or yes or no? Okay pa rin ba na Wednesday?
Parang okay lang po sir kasi kapag pareho pong sa Friday masyadong ano.
I agree. I understand. Sige, sige. Wednesday na lang. Pero ano na lang siguro class, no? By the time na mag-class tayo, I'm okay lang ba na i-assume ko na at least na nabasa nyo na kahit konti yung module? Or kahit mag-effort tayo, no, na at least basahin yung module kahit hindi natin fully na intindihan, kailangan natin mabasa yung module para mas mabilis yung flow natin sa pagsagot. Okay lang? Okay,
Yes
good.
po, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So, sige, i-rundown ko lang konti yun, no? Kung ano yung mga different na distributions natin. So, meron tayong three discrete probability distributions na dinidiscuss dito sa Triple ME14. Ang three distributions na yun is yung binomial distribution, yung hypergeometric distribution, tsaka Poisson distribution. Pag sinabing binomial, ang keyword lang dito is pag binomials is yung trials natin are independent of each other because yung each trial natin is done with replacement. Okay? So keyword with replacement. Pag hypergeometric naman, ibig sabihin nito is yung trials natin are dependent because the trials are done without replacement. So just to give you an idea, anong ibig sabihin ng with replacement and without replacement is, kunwari, pag sinabi kong probability of an outcome of 3, kunwari, probability of getting heads after 3 tosses of a coin. Parang ganun. So with replacement yon kasi, kumbaga, pag napili ko heads, for the next trial ko, independent naman siya kasi next trial ko, available pa rin naman yung heads sa akin. Okay? So that's your binomial distribution. Pag sinabi namang hypergeometric, the trials are dependent kasi, kunwari, let's say, probability of drawing 3 aces from a pack of cards in the next, kunwari, 10 draws. Parang ganun. So yung issue doon is pag nag-draw ka ng one card, edi nabawasan na yung cards. Hindi mo ibabalik yung card, kumbaga. So kaya yung term is without replacement siya. Okay? So lahat ng consecutive trial mo doon sa probability is dependent on the previous on the previous trial. Okay? So kaya siya may dependency because there is no replacement when we do the trials. Okay? Malinaw ba 'yon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Usually, yung mga coins, dice, yung mga ganun, coins, dice, yun yung mga probability problems na, with replacement. Yun yung binomial yung gagamitin natin. Pero pagka, usually, mga cards na problem na hindi binabalik yung card or mga, kunwari, mga balls, kunwari, may mga green balls, red balls, mga ganyan. Tapos, or balls, balloons, or any discrete na objects na hindi binabalik yung sa parang pool, yung yung objects na yon, yun yung may dependency tayo. So magiging siya, hypergeometric function. So the last one is yung Poisson distribution, no? So si Poisson distribution, this is a type of distribution kung meron tayong um, parang average data na of a specific, this could be a period of time, a period of or meron na tayong parang well-established na average of a particular outcome occurring in a specific either time, distance, area, volume, or any sort of space, no, na kung saan natin mini-measure yung average occurrence na to. So, it is statistical in nature, and yung we could say that the average occurrence for which we are trying to look into is independent yung trials niya, kumbaga. So the way ang siguro ang pinaka common examples of Poisson distribution is kunwari on average pagka tiningnan niyo yung isang specific area, so kunwari isang area ng isang specific ocean kunwari, on average na may nakikita na 3 whales. Parang gano'n. 3 whales a day at a specific area. So yun yung parang average occurrence niya, and for that case we can use Poisson distribution. So another example is kunwari sa street nyo, doon sa street na sa harap ng bahay nyo, yung on average meron kayong makikita na parang 3 motorcycles na dumadaan per hour. So yun yung isang example ng average occurrence, and for that you can use Poisson distribution. So usually merong mga indicators sila, no? So whenever you have trials na trials na parang sinasabi is binabalik nila yung yung dinodraw nila, then usually binomial agad yon. Tapos pagka sinabing hindi binabalik, then hypergeometric yon. Pag mayroong binigay na data sa inyo na parang average occurrence na data, usually parang automatic magki-click na dapat sa inyo na Poisson to. Parang ganun. So, balik tayo dun sa problem natin. Sa problem natin is meron tayong study down na na-create. So with this, would you think that this is hypergeometric, Poisson, or binomial? Any ideas? Guesses? So let's try to think about it, no? May dinodraw ba tayo dito tas binabalik natin? Parang wala naman, no? Loris has an answer, no? Loris, Poisson, tsaka Latrell and Angeli, they all answered Poisson, and that's correct, no? Poisson kasi parang average, no? Meron tayong average occurrence na pwede nating makompute. So what we do is, copy natin tong na to, data na to, and let's just place it, another problem to. Lagay natin siya, and it's presented as, pero merong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kailangan ko matanggal yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is medyo confusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So ito na yung data ko. Tama ba? 3, 1, 4, 0, 3, 1, 5, 1. 3, 1, 5, 1. So nandito naman siguro yung data ko, no? Okay? So ito siya. So if I take the average of this one,
Sir, di po ata kita yung Excel file po.
ay, sorry, I'm sorry. Hello, thank you. So ito siya. So ang ginawa ko lang class is kinuha ko lang yung data, no? So from the table, medyo pangit kasi yung pagka-paste ng Excel, pero na-extract ko naman yung data. Tapos na-remove ko yung mga unnecessary na information, no? So ito yung exact data lang from the 8-week na observation. Tapos from the 8 weeks, ito siya 3, 5, 3, 1, 1, 4, 0, and 1. Tapos kinuha ko yung average. So we have 2.25 in the 8-week period. Tama? So this is a weekly average. Okay? Weekly average. So, okay, so the way we do Poisson is we just do equals Poisson dot this, and ang kukunin natin is yung average, yung first na, so ito meron siyang 3 arguments, no? Yung first argument is ilan yung number of successes na in-expect mo. Tapos next is ano yung mean ng successes na yon, and yung last is kung cumulative ba siya or not. Pagka cumulative, ibig sabihin from 0 possibility to whatever possibility. So may distribution kasi tayo, tapos titignan natin kung cumulative. Usually cumulative naman yung ginagawa natin. Okay? So it's either 1 or 0 lang siya. 0 pag non-cumulative, 1 pag cumulative. So ang gagawin natin dito before we do Poisson distribution is establish muna natin um, kung ano yung success, ano yung failure. Kasi ito yung key um, when you do uh, discrete probability distribution, you need to clearly establish kung um, ano yung success mo at ano yung failure mo. Kasi again, parang ones and zeros tong ones and zeros tong discrete distribution, no? Either it's on or it's off, it's a success or it's a failure, parang ano. And etong success and failure, pwedeng hindi tayo maglagay ng dito, no? Parang emotional attachment sa kanya. Kumbaga, pag sinabing success, hindi all the time ito yung positive. Pagka sinabing failure, hindi all the time ito yung parang negative na impact. Sa kunwari, I'm dealing with the number of deaths per day. Pagka sinabing success, kung in-establish ko na ang success is occurrence of death, edi ibig sabihin yun yung success ko. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na parang positive yung yung pagkamatay ng isang tao, no? So hindi siya ganoon. So kailangan tanggalin niyo yung emotional attachment bit of the word success and failure, no? Kailangan i-establish natin success meaning yes, failure meaning no. So if for example yung death and survival, no, kunwari nag-survive siya, pag sinabi ko ang survival is my success, then kailangan all throughout consistent kayo. Success nyo is indicated by survival. Kasi pagka ano naman siya, if it is a discrete function, yung probability naman will always equal to 0. So kunwari, if the success probability is 0.6, then the failure probability is 0.4, parang ganyan. Okay? So malinaw ba 'yon? So dapat familiar kayo sa pag-establish ng consistent, or dapat sanay kayo sa pag-establish ng consistent na failures and successes, or consistent basis or consistent perspective kung ano yung failure and success. And I'll show you later dito sa first example na to, no, pakita ko sa inyo na we can still arrive at the same conclusion if we use either success natin is isa lang pala to, hindi we can't do it for another. Sige, scrap that, no. We can't do this for we can't do two perspective for this case, no. For this case, one perspective lang magagawa natin kasi yung binigay sa atin na data is yung rain frequency, no. So yung rain frequency natin is pwede natin i-establish ngayon na ang success is if it rains. If it doesn't rain, then yun yung failure. Okay? Okay. So, ang question is, what is the probability that it will rain at least thrice in 2 weeks? Okay. So, let's do ang gagawin natin is let's say siya ulit. So we already have the average. Tapos gawin natin is what we can do is parang we are saying na what is the average at least, no? So parang ang sinasabi dito is ano yung probability na the number of successes is greater than or equal to 3. Parang ganyan. Tama? So, pag ganito kasi, medyo mahirap, no? Pagka ang ginawa natin is yung probability ng 3 pass. Kasi kumbaga, yung probability na yun is parang wala siyang clear bounds, kumbaga. So, the way the Poisson distribution works is, di ba, Poisson you establish kumbaga a number of successes given an average. Okay? So, parang mahirap pagka ang ginawa natin is probability of 3 kasi ito is probability na if we do this, kunwari ganito yung ginawa natin, no? 2.25, and if we are doing weekly, no? So, if we do the probability na 3 yung makukuha nating successful na rain occurrence, this is exactly 3, no? Again, ito kasi is exactly, no, sorry. Pag exactly 3, then we should do non-cumulative, no? So, ifo-false natin to. Pero pagka gusto natin 3 or lower, ang gagawin natin is true. So, false. Yun yung cumulative. Okay? So, usually, again, cumulative yung ginagawa natin unless, of course, um, the problem indicates na exact yung number of successes. So, for example, pag sinabing, kung kunwari sa problem, ang sinabi is, what is the probability that it will rain exactly thrice in the next 2 weeks, then dapat ang gagamitin natin is false yung third argument natin. No? So, non-cumulative dapat. Okay? So, eto muna. If we did 3, kumari, distribution of 2.25 yung mean. Pero, ang sabi kasi sa problem, balikan lang natin yung problem, guys, no? The problem states that it is, what is the probability that it will rain at least thrice in 2 weeks? So, notice na ito din yung isa na kailangan yung bantayan, class, no? Pagka nagpo-post on distribution kayo is, try to look at yung period or yung range. It's either a period of time or a period of, kunwari, a range of length or a range of area. So, titingnan nyo kung ano yung kumbaga divisor ng average nyo. So, dito, nung kinuha natin yung 2.25, it is a weekly average. So, therefore, over 1 week yung divisor niya, kumbaga. So, so as to speak, no? So, dito, ang problem is, ang tinatanong is, in the next 2 weeks. So, kailangan natin i-convert yung average natin into a parang bi-weekly na average or fortnightly ba ang term? Fortnightly ata. A fortnightly average. So, that's every 2 weeks. So, para magawa yon, i-multiply lang natin by 2. Tama? Multiply it by 2. So, this is saying na if it has a weekly average of 2.25 or it rains 2.25 times in 1 week, then therefore we can say na it should rain 4.5 times in 2 weeks. Tama? So kaya kinonvert ko siya into the appropriate period. Okay? So the cumulative, itong third argument again is if we want from 0 to whatever successes na nandito. So, if you are saying na from 0 to 3 successes, then you use cumulative. Pero kung sinasabi mo na exactly, yun yung kailangan natin is non-cumulative. So, this case, cumulative yung gagawin natin. Okay? So, makukuha natin is 0.343. Pero ang sinasabi nito is, this is the probability that it will rain at most. So, this is at most 3 times. Pero hindi naman yun yung hinihingi ng problem, di ba? Again, this is for, so this is like saying na this is the probability of x equals 0, x equals 1, x equals 2, and x equals 3. Parang siya yung cumulative na probability na it's x equals 1, 0, 2, or 3. Okay? So, this is the probability na it will rain at most 3 times. Again, that is saying that it can either rain 0 times, it can either rain 1 time, it can either rain 2 times or 3 times in the 2-week span. Okay? Since hindi naman yun yung tinatanong, di ba? Ang tinatanong kasi is what is the probability na na at least, hindi at most, pero at least 3 times. So that is saying na again, mahirap no, kasi yung cumulative function natin measures from 0 to x. Ito yung cumulative. 0 to x dapat siya. Wala kasing function sa Excel na x to infinity. Walang ganun. And that is what we are looking for. No? Pag sinabi kasing at least 3 times, you are saying x to infinity. And walang ganun na function sa Excel. Okay? So, pag sinabing x, and just to be complete, no? This is pag sinabing exactly x, ang gagawin natin is non-cumulative or false. Ito, true yung gagamitin dito. Okay? Doon sa third argument, no? Ito ay doon sa third argument ng Poisson distribution. Okay? So x to infinity does not exist to. So cannot be computed. Okay? Hindi siya mako-compute. Therefore, pwede tayong gumawa ng manipulations. No? Kasi again, ito is discrete probability function to wherein we only have two outcomes, no? Either success or failure. So kung two outcomes lang, success or failure, then para ma-compute natin to, we can do a manipulation. No? Instead of x to infinity, that is saying na this is the probability of 100% minus 0 to x na probability. Tama? Or if I can put it dito, no? This is just equivalent to itong probability of x minus 3. This is equal to the probability, this is the 1 minus the probability of x is less than or equal, less than 3. Tama? Parang ganyan siya. Would you say that these are equivalent?
Yes, sir. Pwede.
Equivalent naman, no? Kasi
Opo.
again, yung probability kasi na to is displayed in fractions, no? Or in fractions. Therefore, yung 100% probability is just equal to 1. So the probability goes from 0 to 1. Yun yung maximum range natin. So if we deduct 1, if we deduct this value by from 1, then we should get the probability of x is greater than 3. Okay? So pagka cumulative kasi, tama ba spelling ko cumulative? Parang mali yata. Cumulative, sorry. Cumulative. Cumulative. Ano ba itong spelling ko? Okay, non-cumulative. Cumulative and cumulative. Okay? So meron tayong cumulative, no? Pero ang cumulative kasi is always 0 to x and x included. Included si x doon sa cumulative. So therefore, para siyang x equals, again, ito, x is equal to 0, 1, and 3, which is also saying that x is less than or equal to 3. Parang yan yung sinasabi dito eh. Okay? The probability that x is less than or equal to 3. Pero ang gusto natin is x, i-minus lang natin is x is less than 3. So, ang pwede natin gawin, instead of 3, gawin na lang natin 2 to. Okay? So, parang gawin natin is, compute tayo ng at most 2 times, which is the probability of x is less than or equal to 2, which is the same as the probability of x is less than 3. Tama? Kasi you can't have fractions for successes, no? Kasi kunwari, hindi naman pwedeng it rains 1.5 times. Parang hindi nagme-make sense yun, no? Parang pwede naman mag-make sense na parang kalahating time. Pero kunwari, let's just say another example, no? Yung mas concrete na example. Kunwari, what is the probability na nabuhay yung isang patient from a rare disease? Hindi naman pwedeng 1.5 times na nabubuhay yung patient kasi parang wala namang half a probability, no, or half a time na nabuhay siya. Tama? So it's either a yes or a no lang siya. Therefore, pwede nating sabihin na yung probability ng at most 2 times is like saying na less than 3 times. Okay? So, if we compute that, and let's just copy the same formula, no? But instead of using 3, we use 2. So, that is at most 2 times. Tapos, ang gawin natin is, deduct natin yung 1 minus ano. So, if I do 1 minus itong value na to, equals 1 minus this value, this should give us 0.82, which is 82%. And if I want to convert this into percentages, pwede naman select nyo lang tapos convert nyo into percentages. Click nyo lang tong percentage button dito. Tapos siya na magko-convert into percentage. Kung gusto nyo may decimal, pwede naman. Okay? So that's 82.6% ang probability na that you will have at least 3 at least in the next 2 weeks, mag-range siya 3 times. Okay? So malinaw ba 'yon? So how we can manipulate probabilities? So again, ang pinakaimportante lang dito guys, no, kung paano nyo ini-interpret itong cumulative na to. So again, ang cumulative is whatever success number you are trying to figure out plus yung probability ng numbers before it or below it. Okay? Okay. So questions before I proceed to another number. So the next question. The next problem, I mean. Okay tayo? Malinaw?
Sir, may tanong po ako. Bakit
Go ahead.
bakit po parang hindi na po ang probability ng x less than or equal to 3 po? Parang
X less than or equal to 3. It's just kumbaga yung limitations lang ng ano no, ng Excel. Kasi si Excel kasi pag nag-cumulative function siya, hindi niya wala siyang inclusive na or wala siyang exclusive na function, no? Ay, sorry. Ano ulit yung tanong mo? Kung bakit
ayun, parang para hindi ko po parang
Mas-
na-gets bakit pa siya kinompute, parang ganun po. Ganun.
yung ito?
Opo.
Ito,
I mean,
kumbaga ito malito na sagot. Hindi, ito yung
okay
final
po.
sagot natin.
Opo.
Ito,
Parang pinakita nyo lang po na ano.
oo, na mali yun.
Opo.
Sorry. Ayun ba yung question mo? Okay. Pinakita ko lang na hindi to tamang sagot kasi kumbaga sinasama niya kasi ang interpretation kasi nito is at most 3 times which is not what we are looking for.
Okay po. Thank you po.
Okay. Any more questions? And thank you for the clarification. No? Hindi ko pa nare-recognize yung mga bosses nyo. I'm assuming si Russell yun. Okay, other questions? Okay, can we proceed? Yes. Use your ano na lang, yes or no, guys. Yes, mukhang nag-AFK na yung iba.
Okay
No?
naman po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sige, proceed na. Okay, thank you for the feedback. Let's proceed. So, let's try another problem, no? So, we have yung problem na to. The time to assemble a car in a certain plant is a random variable having a normal distribution of 20 hours and a standard deviation of 2 hours. What is the probability that a car can be assembled at this plant in a period of time less than 90.5 hours and between 20 and 22 hours? Ito, this is a more of ano to, no, normal distribution to. So, pakita ko na lang kung paano siya isa-solve, no? Okay. So, if you read your notes doon sa ano, this is hindi siya discrete na ano, no, probability distribution, pero this is a normal distribution naman. So, pag normal distribution, this is the usual bell curve na nakikita natin. And yung normal distribution will help us determine yung parang if an occurrence is average or not, no, based on where it lies in the normal distribution. So if you look at a normal distribution, let's take a ano, no, kuwari ito, let me switch. Para lang ito. This is itsura ng normal distribution, no? So what it means is parang within this range, within this range, itong part na to, this is 68.3. That is 1 plus minus 1 standard deviation from the center line. Plus minus 2 standard deviation, which is this range from here to here. So from this point to this point, that is 2 standard deviations away um, from the center line, or um, the me the mean, median, and mode of the of the distribution. Tapos this is where you have 3 standard deviations. And notice na sa 3 standard deviations, halos sakop na niyan lahat, no? Yung it encompasses 99.7%. Which is why usually pagka sinabing ang isang process ay kung you'll hear this in some companies where they say that they have a Six Sigma process. Ang sinasabi lang nila is kaya sa Six Sigma kasi 3 on this side and 3 on this side, you are saying na accounted mo lahat ng sources of variation para sa particular process nyo. Okay? So but that's for a discussion in another time, no? But eto, ang sinasabi lang dito is if you fall, kunwari, you fall somewhere dito, kunwari, kunwari, ang occurrence mo falls somewhere dito, then therefore, parang you can roughly say na you are on average, or this particular occurrence is roughly an average na estimate of this distribution. Tama? Pero if you fall somewhere, kunwari, nag-fall ka dito sa area na to, this is your occurrence, then parang sinasabi mo na masyadong unlikely yon kasi kumbaga nasa outliers ka na eh. So yung probability na mangyayari to is quite small, no, that you can say na hindi siya masyadong or kumbaga unlikely na mangyari yon. Okay, so this is important because if we know that a process is normally distributed, and in most processes are normally distributed naman, no, then we can say na if something is an outlier or something is within reason naman siya. So siguro practical examples for when you can use normal distributions is kunwari nagkaroon ng 5 defects. Kunwari may processing plant kayo tapos on average dapat mga 1 defect lang yung kunwari 1 defect plus minus 0.5. Kunwari, yun yung average distribution, no, and it's normally distributed. And in nature naman, class, no, and all of the unless otherwise may specific reason kung bakit hindi sila magiging normal, we can estimate all natural processes as normally distributed. So, for example, yung meron kayong process sa planta nyo, given na all things are parang normally controlled naman sila, you can estimate na normal lang yung distribution ng process na yun. Okay? So, it is fair to say na normal yung distribution ng isang process, no? Okay? So, eto, kunwari lang ang average defect is 1 plus minus 0.5 yung niya, yung average defect. Then, biglang ang nangyari is nagkaroon ng 5 defects. So, would this be a cause for parang alarm sa company nyo? Kunwari, uy, sa linya natin, yung line 1, kunwari, nagkaroon ng 5 defects. Normal lang ba yun? Hindi ba yun normal? So, with that, you need to use normal distributions, no? So, kailangan natin siyang statistically input natin siya dito, tapos tingnan natin kung within reason ba or outside na ba yun sa And pagka nag-proceed tayo, kung aabot tayo sa SPC, which is the last topic sa yung statistical process control, pwede actually tayong mag-determine ng mga ganitong cases, no, wherein we can set some rules to determine if a process is in control or is out of control. Okay? But for this case, again, normal distribution yung gagamitin natin. Tapos, we can determine that using what we call as a z-score, no? So, meron tayong parang tinatawag na z-score. And this z-score is the value attributed to this particular, if you normalize your data into a normal distribution where you have 0 as the midpoint, 1 as the standard deviation point. Parang ganyan. So, kumbaga, naka-normalize to siya. So, kasi dito, kumbaga, if you look at the data na binigay, no? Let me go back. Ito siya. If you look back at the data, ang sinabi kasi dito is may 20 hours tayo. Yun yung average na 20 hours. Tapos ang standard deviation niya is 2 hours. So yan, hindi naka-normalize tong data na to, no? So, if I were to illustrate this data, it will look something like, ayan, balik tayo. If I were to okay. Kunwari lang, yung data na yon, it will look something like, parang ganyan class, no? Tapos, yung average niya is somewhere around, ano yung sabi, 20 hours, no? 20 hours. Tapos yung one standard deviation niya, saglit lang class, ha? Okay, so ito, 20 hours, tapos parang sinasabi niya na yung standard deviation niya, so this 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, is around 2 hours daw. Okay? So this is in hours, no? In hours to. So the problem with this class, no, ito pag kunwari gumamit tayo ng ganitong distribution is that you can't expect na lahat ng processes gagawan mo ng ganitong data. So kunwari kung may gagamit tayong statistical tables, hindi natin may expect na lahat tayo merong data for kunwari itong specific na to 20 hours tapos 2 hours standard deviation. Paano pag may isang process naman na normally distributed yung process pero yung average naman niya is 40 hours tapos yung standard deviation is 3.5 hours. Pero yung itsura pa rin yan is it still follows a bell curve. Parang ganun, no? So to eliminate that problem, ang gagawin natin is we normalize this data, no? So the term is normalizing. So normalizing is we are trying to convert this data. Etong data na to. Etong data na to, i-convert natin siya into an equivalent na normal distribution, but this time, instead of having 20 tapos 2, ang gagawin natin, normalize natin siya na 0 yung nandito. Tapos, ito, no? 0 yung nandyan. Tapos, nandito is 1. Tapos yung standard deviation is negative 1 dito. So, 0, 1. Ayan. So, itong normalized na data to, mas madali na siya kasi, kumbaga, na-convert mo na siya dito. And when we use tables, meron ng standard tables for this kung naka-normalize yung data. So para ma-normalize natin to convert it from this one to this equivalent one, we need to use z-score. Kumbaga, etong 2 na to, i-convert natin siya into a z-score that wherein yung 2 now becomes 1. So kunwari, meron tayong eto kasi magiging ano to, no? If I'm being accurate, this is supposed to be 22, this is 18, this is plus 2 pa. So that's 24. This is 16. Tama? Parang ganun. Tapos if we do 3 sigma, kaya natin mag-compute yun. So for example, ang occurrence natin is something like 21. Kung 21 siya, ano yung z-score niya dito? Okay? Parang ganun, no? So we can do that by converting it using the z transformation, no? Yung ang tawag sa pag-normalize using this one is z transformation yung tawag natin doon. So, kung i-z transformation natin to, 2021 actually magiging 0.5 siya. Parang ganun, which makes sense, no? So, we can convert any value along this line into a z-score. Okay? Okay, so Balik tayo dun sa problem, no? So what is the probability that a car can be assembled at this plant in a period of time less than 19.5 hours? Okay? So, ang gagawin natin is, pwede tayong tumingin sa tables, pero yung ituturo kong method sa inyo is ah, mas mabilis na, no? Ang ituturo ko is through Excel na. I'll leave it to you guys to watch or look at the modules kung paano nyo i-compute manually using statistical tables. But in the exams, pwede naman tayo gumamit ng Excel, no? Okay? So I suggest na Excel na lang gamitin natin. Okay? So try to compute. Ang sabi is ang average daw natin is 20 hours. 20 hours tapos 2 yung standard deviation. Okay? So I do yung mu natin, mu which means the average, no? The population average is 20 hours. Tapos yung sigma natin, which is the standard deviation, is 2 hours. Okay? So, ang kailangan natin is the probability that, yung tinatanong ng problem, no? Is ano yung probability, yung first part A, is probability that you have less than 19.5 hours. Okay? So, yung probability na less than 19.5 hours, that X is less than 19.5. Diba? Parang ganyan yung hinahanap natin. So, this is the first problem, and ililipat ko na lang dito. So, this is A. Tapos yung next is the probability of in between 20 and 22 siya. Pero later, i-ano natin yun. If we were using the standard probability, no, or the standard tables yung gagamitin natin, dapat yung 19.5 i-convert natin siya into a z-score dapat. Okay? Pero since ang gagawin natin ngayon is since pwede naman Excel yung gagamitin natin, pwede nang hindi natin convert to a z-score yung 19.5. Si Excel na yung gagawa nun for us. Tapos siya na rin magko-compute ng area under the curve. Okay? So, Pico, kailangan kong i-illustrate to, no, para mas ma-imagine nyo siya. So, let me go back. So just to give you an imagination, yung probabilities kasi natin is taken from the areas under the curve, no? So for example, if you want to say what is the probability that, kunwari, yung problem na 19.5. Ano yung probability na less than 19.5? You are actually saying na, ano yung probability na, eto siya. So this is that probability, no? What is the area under the curve just below 19.5? Parang ganun. And you can compute this by you have standard tables, no, that have areas under the curve, tapos nakalagay yung mga areas under the curve. Pero for this case, i-compute lang natin. So the usual method to do this is convert you into a z-score. So meron siyang z-score dito. This z here corresponds to 19.5. Tapos yung z-score na yon, from that z-score using the standard table, the normalized standard table, I should say, nakalagay na yung area under the curve if you have a particular value. Pero since again Excel tayo, no need to normalize lang in our case, no? So we can do, lipat natin. So we are doing, bakit ayaw pumindot? Okay. Bumalik na sa normal yung Excel ko. Okay. So ang gagawin natin is, gusto natin makuha yung area below 19.5. Okay? So si Excel, the way Excel does it is, meron din siyang cumulative function, no? So gagamitin natin is norm.dist. So this means the normal distribution, no? Tapos ang gagawin mo is you input halos same with Poisson, no? So you input the X value, and this is your particular na value of interest, and in this case 19.5 yung input natin, no? Then you input a mean, which is the mu, and the standard dev, which is the sigma, tapos yung kung cumulative siya or not. When you say cumulative, again, it's yung limitation ng Excel is from 0 to X is cumulative. Tapos pagka exactly X, pagka X yung hinahanap natin, then non-cumulative dapat. So kunwari, gusto natin mahanap kung ano yung probability na exactly 19.5 yung makukuha mo, then you use a non-cumulative function. Pero ito, ang tinatanong kasi is, tinatanong ng problem, balik tayo dun sa problem. Tinatanong kasi is less than 19.5 hours siya. Okay? So, gawin natin siya. We have, balik tayo sa Excel natin. So the way we do this is we just do equals norm dot this. Again, Excel is 0 to X yun sa kanya, no? So pwedeng we can do it straightforward lang, no? Normal that X is 19.5. Tapos mean natin is itong 20. Standard deviation natin is this 2. Tapos we are looking for a cumulative distributive function. So gawin natin true. Pwedeng you can type true, pero pwede ring 1 lang para to signify true. Okay? So if we input that, we should get 40.1%. So this is the probability, no? So if you want to show it in percentage, actually good enough na to class, no? Naka-show in fraction. Probabilities can be given as fractions. Pero if mas familiar kayo sa percentage, pwede naman i-convert nyo into percentage. 40.30. Okay? So next problem is, ano naman yung probability na it falls between 20 and 22 hours? So if I were to illustrate that, always class no, pagka gumagawa tayo ng mga probability, lalo na pagka yung normal distribution problem, it's always easier na i-imagine nyo muna siya as a normal, as a bell curve, no? Tapos from the bell curve, i-try nyo siya i-analyze. So, ito. So, draw tayo ng another bell curve. So, ito yung bell curve natin. Tapos, again, we are at 20. Tapos, ang problem na ngayon is, ano yung probability na, hindi pa ako naka-show. So, let's draw another bell curve. We are probability at 18. 18 to 22 yung sabi, no? 18 to 22, which is actually just one standard deviation to another standard deviation, no? Tama?
Yes.
So if that's the case, pwede actually natin diretso na sagutin to, no? This is actually just yung ang mangyayari dito is ito na yung 67 point something percent, no? Pero let's compute it, no? Para just to be sure. Yung pinakita ko earlier, which is this one, dapat kung tama yung ginawa natin, dapat ito yung makukuha natin value, yung 68.3, because we are within plus minus 1, no? Unless, tama ba yung problem? Balikan ko lang. Sorry. Mali. Sorry, class. Hindi pala 18 yung tinatanong, no? Kaya pala. Ang tinatanong kasi is 20 to 22 pala. So that's saying dito lang pala siya. Ito. 22. So if we did it correctly, dapat ang makukuha natin is this is one standard deviation away. Tama? Kasi 2 hours yung standard deviation. And it's symmetrical. Therefore, kung and this is just a quick tip class, no? Therefore, kung tama yung ginawa natin, dapat if we divide this by 2, 68.3 divided by 2 gives us this area. Tama? Which is exactly the area we are looking for, no? Okay? So, Dapat pwedeng 68.3 pero let's try kung 68.3 divided by 2 nga lang ba siya. Okay? Okay, so from 20 to 22 yung gagawin natin. So, the way we tackle this is, we know that this is a symmetrical distribution, no? Ang strategy natin dito is, we know that this one, from here to here is 0.5. Tama? Kasi kung yung area under the curve is 1, kasi 100% yung probability naman, 50% of the probability is to the left, 50% is to the right. And asymptotic kasi ito, no? So, it will extend up to infinity, no? So, it's 0.5 from negative infinity up to 0 if it's normalized, or 20 if it's for this particular distribution. So, yun yung 0.5 probability. So, what we need to do is, si Excel, pagka nag-cumulative function tayo, hindi niya kayang ma-determine yung, ang limitation niya is, cumulative is always from 0, or yung, in this case, negative infinity. It's always from negative infinity papunta sa whatever x na pinili nyo. Or in this case, whatever z value na pinili nyo. Ganyan. Okay? So, ang goal natin is, kuha na lang tayo from negative infinity up to 22 using a cumulative function. Cumulative yung gagamitin natin. Tapos, from there, minus na lang natin yung 0.5 na to. Tama? Kasi if we take this whole area and deduct the area, itong minus 0.5 na to. So, kumbaga parang ginawa natin is, kinuha natin lahat ng to from 0 or negative infinity up to 22. Tapos, binawasan natin siya ng area na to. Kumbaga, tatanggalin natin to. Which is from negative infinity to 20, which is just 0.5, no? Because we know that it is asymmetrical. Okay? So, for that, ang gagawin natin is, lipat tayo sa Excel. Therefore, ito, equal lang to sa, again, we are trying to look for, lolo ko na naman sa Excel. Ayun. We are trying to look for the probability of x is greater than 20, tama? But less than 22. Okay? That is the probability we're looking for. Therefore, para makompute yan, we just do equals norm dot dist ng x value natin. What is our x value? It's 20. Sorry. Next natin is 22 kasi we're looking for the right edge, tong right boundary na to, no? Tapos yung mean natin is 20. Yung standard deviation natin is 20, is 2. Tapos again, we're looking at cumulative. Tapos minus lang natin ng area under the curve of the left na left portion. That's 0.5. So you should get 0.34, and just to check, no, if we multiply this by 2, we should get 68.2, which is exactly yung sinabi ko kanina, no, which is half of this one. Tama? 68.3, 68.2. If you divide it by half, you should get 34, which is yun yung nangyari ngayon, no? Okay? So you have 34.1%. And burahin ko na to para hindi kayo malito. And let's convert this into a percentage. 34.13% ang probability na in between 20 and 22 yung hours natin. Okay? Okay tayo? Questions? We can probably do 2 more problems, no? Kasi 11 na. Okay? Let's proceed. Ito. The defects on the surface of a metal is randomly distributed at an average of 2 defects per 1 millimeter squared of surface area. If a surface area of 0.1 mm squared was examined under a microscope, what is the chance that the sample contains exactly one defect? Okay? So, question, hypergeometric, binomial, Poisson.
Poisson, sir.
Poisson, that's good. Thank you, Russell. Poisson siya, no? Kasi again, parang medyo obvious kasi parang nagbigay siya ng average. So again, yun yung una yung hinahanap class, no? Anytime nagbibigay ng average, dapat nag-click na sa inyo, Poisson to. Okay? So ang problema lang dito is ang average na binigay is 2 per 1 millimeter squared of area, pero ang hinihingi sa atin is 0.1 millimeter squared of area. So kailangan natin ma-convert to, no? So kung gusto natin siya ma-convert, if it's 2, then we divide it by ilan dapat yung i-divide natin? Kung kailangan. So parang ang sinasabi kasi dyan is kung 0.1, if it's 2 per millimeter squared, then para makuha yung dagdag tayo ng additional sheet. Para makuha yung close. Delete. Para makuha yung yung lambda na hinihingi niya is dapat i-divide natin by 10, no? Kasi kung kunwari 0.2 divided by 0.1 mm equals 0.2 divided by 0.1 mm gives us 2, which is yung original natin na defects per mm squared. Tama? So, ang kailangan natin ngayon is 0.2 defects per 0.1 mm squared. Okay? So again class, yun yung kailangan yung bantayan parati, no? Kailangan equivalent yung period, area, length, or whatever yung divisor ng occurrence na mini-measure nyo. Okay? So na-convert na natin. So if we were to do Poisson, so the formula is again simple, no? That's Poisson dot dist, and our x is, again, ang hinahanap natin dito is the probability that x is equal to 1. Tama? Probability that x is equal to 1. Kasi 1 defect for the 0.1 millimeter squared area na mineasure natin. Okay? So, we can also write it this way, no? Parang probability of x such that given that lambda is equal to 0.2. That is also one way of writing etong pag meron kang Poisson distribution. So if we compute that, that becomes equals Poisson dot dist ng x natin, which is 1, and we have an average of 2. We have an average of ang mean natin is 0.2 defects per 0.1 millimeter squared. Tapos ang tinatanong ng problem is exactly 1, no? Tama? So kaya hindi tayo cumulative ngayon. Ang non-cumulative yung gagamitin natin. So that's 0. Okay? Pero pag sinabi niyang is at most 2, then at most 1 I mean, then we could do equals 1. 1 dapat yung cumulative natin. Pero since we're doing exactly 1, then dapat i-false natin yung third argument na to. So we are doing non-cumulative na probability distribution. So you should get 16.37%. This is the probability that you have exactly 1 defect for the area na mineasure natin, which is 0.1 millimeter squared. Okay? Medyo madali lang, no? Ang difficult part lang dito is yung conversion. Parang yun yung siguro, okay, may nagtatanong si Martin, no? Bakit ulit kinonvert natin into 0.2? Kasi when we are doing this type of analysis, kailangan mag-match yung average occurrence natin versus doon sa whatever we are measuring. Dito kasi if the problem said that we took an area equal to 1 millimeter squared, then pwedeng hindi na natin kinonvert siya. Pero ang sabi kasi sa problem is kumuha lang tayo ng 0.1 millimeter squared na area. So that's why etong average occurrence na to, convert natin siya to the same to match the 0.1 millimeter squared. Okay? So let's just say na kinuha niya, if a surface area chosen was, kunwari, kumuha tayo ng 4 millimeter squared. Ano dapat yung average occurrence na kukunin natin? Do we have to convert or hindi na?
Kailangan pa po.
Kailangan, and
Times
what we do
4.
is times 4. Very good. So magiging 8. That's correct, Martin and David. Russell. So 2 times 4, magiging 8 na siya. Okay? So remember class, yun yung kailangan nyo tandaan parati. Pag nagposon kayo, always be mindful of the units. No? Kailangan mag-match yung whatever is required by the problem and whatever is given as by the average. Okay? So next, proceed tayo sa ito. The acceptance scheme. The acceptance scheme for purchasing lots containing large numbers of batteries is to test no more than 80 randomly selected batteries and to reject a lot if a single battery fails from these 80 samples. So suppose that the probability of a failure is 0.002, then what is the probability that a lot is accepted? Okay. So think about it first. So if I were to ask you, is this hypergeometric, binomial, or is this a normal distribution? Okay. So you would be tempted to say na di ba 0.002 may binigay na parang probability eh. Would this mean na siya? Poisson? Binomial? That's correct, no? It's actually binomial. So parang yung each test natin is independent of the first test, no? Or technically hypergeometric siya, pero pwedeng ma-estimate actually ng binomial distribution yung isang hypergeometric pagka meron tayong large enough number of samples. And I think let me check, no? Ano yung threshold? I think it's 50. Pero saglit lang class. Let me check my notes. Kung ano yung threshold. Okay. I think it was 50 no, pero sige, i-review na lang natin siya on another day. Pero the question here is a binomial distribution kasi pwede natin siyang tingnan yung given na binigay, no? 'di ba may nakita tayong probability of success which is the etong 0.002. So that is probability of a failure is 0.002. So ngayon mag-establish tayo ng ano yung kumbaga kahit failure ang sinabi pero pwede nating establish to as the success. So medyo confusing yung term pero ang sinasabi ko is um yung sa success of having detected uh, a a failed product, kumbaga parang ganyan. Okay? So does that make sense? So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina class na dapat itanggalin natin yung parang common notion natin of what is success and failure Okay, so ang gawin natin baka mas maintindihan niyo kung ginawa natin in Excel. So we have ano yung probability that x equals 0 Parang sinasabi ganyan kasi parang of the 20 trials na ginawa ito and we can probably do two solutions dito papakita ko sa inyo yung pag hypergeometric yung ginamit kasi parang technically hypergeometric siya kasi kumbaga pag kinuha mo yung isang battery hindi mo naman siya binabalik tama pero hindi siya hypergeometric in a sense na yung wala kasing sure na na failed battery doon sa loob. Meron lang probability na may failed battery siya. Sige, nililito ko na lang kayo. Pero anyway, papakita ko yung two solutions para mas mas maintindihan nyo. And this will probably be our last na answer and last na problem for today. You ang sabi dito is again, ano yung probability that a lot is accepted? That is saying na wala kang defects. Tama? So, again, establish muna natin. Ang success natin dito success is when we have equals battery fails. Okay? Yun yung success natin. So, when we say that ang conditions kasi sa problem is what is the probability na zero yung number or ang question kasi specifically says is what is the probability balikan ko lang. What is the probability that you accept a lot and a lot is only accepted pag if only ang condition for which you accept a lot is when all 80 randomly selected batteries pass the test. Kumbaga walang nag-fail sa kanila. So to put it in terms of yung probability parang sinasabi natin ma-accept lang yung lot natin if zero yung number of successes natin. Successes being yung battery failures. Okay? I hope you don't get confused by that, So again, we are trying to look at the probability that x is equal to 0. So if we do equals binom dot dist, that is the binomial distribution function. Tapos number s, ibig sabihin nito is ilan yung ilan dapat yung number underscore s dito is the number of successful trials, So successful being, again, dito sa case na to, that the battery fails. Okay, so the number of successes natin is, gusto natin 0. Number of trials na gagawin natin is 80, kasi 80 yung batteries na kukunin natin, So, yung probability of success natin is what is the probability of success? Probability of success is a 0.002. Tama? And we are doing an exact na ano, no? So false dapat to kasi we are looking at x exactly equal to 0. Okay? So we should get, and pwede kong i-expand pa to, no? Parang given n is equal to r ata yung proper ano, no? Given that r equals 0, n equals n equals 80, and what is the probability of success? Q ata yun. Probability of success P is equal to 0.002. So pwede natin yan dyan, no? And let me just make sure na I'm using the correct notations, no? Sorry. X pala yung ginagamit. So X, N, and P yung ginagamit as opposed doon sa hyperjump. So let's do hyperjump. So ito yung binom na nakuha natin. And we can also equally do hypergeometric function, no? So hypergeometric is when we have, di ba pag hypergeometric, ang ginagawa natin is meron tayong number of successes, tapos meron din tayong total number of elements, tapos magko-compute tayo ng number of elements to be drawn and the number of successes in those n elements. Okay? So, as to recap, no? Sa hypergeometric, meron tayong ganito, capital N, which is the number of elements. So, yung total. R, so small n muna, is the number of elements to be drawn. Tapos, yung R natin is the number of successes in the elements. Tapos X is number of successes in the drawn elements. Okay? So, ang ano dito, we can, kaya hindi hypergeometric ang ginagamit dito, class, kasi actually wala tayong n na binibigay, no? Kasi wala tayong yung bigger n, pero pwede natin sort of siguro parang dayain siya, no? In a way, parang ganon. Let me show you what I mean. Kasi ang meron kasi tayo is the probability of failure is 0.002. Pwede natin ang gawin is we can have, kunwari, we imagine na we have a large amount of number of batteries. Kunwari, let's just say an infinitely large amount. So I'll just put a very large number, no? So kunwari, ito yung kumbaga number ng isang lot, no? Pero hindi kasi binigay dito yung number of lots, no? Kasi ang sinabi lang, if you look at the problem, let's go back to the problem, no? Ang sabi lang kasi is, you accepting scheme for purchasing lots containing large number of batteries. Note na hindi binigay yung large, kung ilan yung large number of batteries na to, no? So if you want to be more accurate, in practice, since I used to work in PBI, no? I used to work in Motolite. I could give you a rough number na lang siguro kung in one lot, one lot contains around, let me estimate ko. 8. Parang 10 times 5, mga ganyan. So around 500. So one lot contains around 500 batteries. So kung 500 batteries and we know that there is 0.002% ang chance na ang failure ng batteries na yon, so we can do 0.002 times 500. Okay? So it's one battery out of the 500 ang likely na mag-fail. So ang gagawin natin is, ang x natin in this case is, we are drawing 80 elements kasi yun yung randomly na i-test natin. And that 80, from that 80, gusto natin na 0 yung failure. Tama? So, meaning yung successes natin should be 0. Okay? So, if you do this, equals, the formula for hype geom is HYP geom. So, that's hype geom dot dist. The number of successful samples is 0. Number of samples is 80. Ito. The population is 500. Ito population underscore S. This is the number of successful elements in the population, which is this value. Tapos itong G6. Tapos the number of elements in the population is this one. And again, hindi cumulative yung gagawin natin. No? So we have 0. So you notice na halos similar yung numbers na nakukuha natin. Tama? But again, estimate lang yung kasi hindi naman binigay yung exact number of batteries na available. Kumbaga hindi sinabi yung sa hypergeometric, kailangan kasi exacto eh. Binigay to dapat yung number of elements. Kumbaga doon sa lot binigay yung number of batteries doon sa lot. Tapos bukod doon dapat binigay din yung number of failed batteries na nandun sa lot na yun. Kumbaga alam mo kung ilang batteries yung nag-fail. Tapos kumbaga ano yung chance na may nabunot kang failed battery kumbaga. So ito more of estimation na to, and notice na kung lalakihan natin yung number na to, we will grow closer and closer to this value. And in fact, ano tayo no? So let's start with 100 kunwari. It's ganyan. 1 lang siya. Pag 500, 0.84. Let's go higher. 8509. Tapos, if I do a very large number, it's going closer. Dagdagan ko pa ng 0. You'll notice na, very close na sila. And in fact, baka equal na nga itong dalawang to eh. Let me just extend. 7.5. Dagdagan pa natin. Oh, no. Hindi na. Hindi na kaya niya. Pag dinagdagan natin. So, yun yung point ko, class, no? Binomial distributions can approximate your hypergeometric function if the number of elements is large enough. And yung large enough na yan, hindi, I'm just finding it hard to remember the exact threshold, no? But I'll probably mention it or email ko na lang sa inyo kung ano yung, but I'm sure it's in the modules, no? So just look at the modules themselves. So there is a way that you can estimate this too. Okay? So again, yun yung two ways na pwede natin i-compute siya. We can use a binomial function or hypergeometric function. Pero if I were you, I'll use the binomial na lang, no? Para hindi na ako mag-estimate ng itong values na to. Pwede gamitin ko na directly yung probabilities na binigay. Okay? So, ang last problem natin, and I think we can still make it class, no? Ang last problem natin, eto, what is the probability that a lot is rejected on the 20th test? Meaning, parang ano yung probability na doon sa 80, yung pang 20th sample sa 80 samples na kinuha, doon siya nag-fail. Okay? So again, binomial distribution to, no? Okay, I'm just thinking a bit class now. There is a brute force method to do this. Kasi pwede actually brute force, ano? And I'll show you na dapat equal lang siya sa pag hindi tayo nag-brute force. So the probability that x equals 20, tama? X equals 20. So the brute force method, lagay ako sa dito, is actually, kung kunwari, meron tayong 80 samples, Ang probability na
Sir,
magfe-fail
di
yung
po
first...
kita yung Excel po.
Sorry. Thank you. So, kunwari ito, no? Brute force method tayo. Lagay ako ng new column. So, kunwari, may first sample tayo dito. First sample, second sample, third sample, ... So, this is how we do the brute force method, no? So, probability of failure dito is 0.002. Tama? So, yung probability na sa first test mo, makakakuha ka ng rejection is equal to 0.002. So, kung itutuloy-tuloy lang natin to, so what is the probability na, kunwari, hindi sa first natin nakuha, sa second natin nakuha. Kunwari ganyan. Sa third. Hanggang doon sa dulo, sa 20th. Dito siya nag-fail. Ano yung probability na to? Then this probability would just equal times, Ito, probability na to is, dapat baliktarin natin, no? So, di ba sa first trial, it should be 1 minus ito. Tama? This is the probability na, kasi gusto natin na first trial, ano siya, hindi siya mag-fail. So, yung opposite, yung 1 minus etong probability of success will give you the probability of failure. Again, success is the battery will fail, no? So dito, ito yung probability na failure tayo, that is yung battery na tinest natin is okay siya. Okay? So ito yung probability na yon. Tapos ito yung probability, and doon sa last natin, so hanggang if I do dito 19.02, then gusto ko na up until this point, gusto ko na ano pa rin siya, successful pa rin siya. Pero gusto ko at this point, nag-fail na siya dito sa point na to. Tama? So if I do that, then I can just do 98 raised to the power of 19 multiplied by 0.002. And I should reach this number, no? So did that make sense to you guys? Kasi parang sinasabi ko dito is, again, 'di ba, pag yung multiplicative rule ng probability is that if and siya, dapat multiply. Pag or, dapat ina-add natin. So ang gusto kasi natin na the battery does not fail, and battery 1 does not fail, and battery 2 does not fail, and battery 3 does not fail, and so on and so forth, hanggang battery 19 and battery 19 does not fail, pero yung dulo and battery 20 fails. Tama? So kung gusto natin yon, then it's just 0.998 times 0.998 times 0.998 times 0.998, and you do it 19 times. So that is just equal to 0.998 raised to the power of 19. Tapos doon sa 20th, and the battery fails, which is now 0.002. So you should have 0.001925. Okay? Does that make sense? Itong brute force method natin? Nasundan ba? Okay, good. Now let's try to do the binomial distribution, no? So the easiest way to do this is parang compute muna natin yung probability na similar to what we did in the brute force method, no? So instead of using brute force method, gamitin natin yung probability muna na of failures from 1 to 19. So we can do equals binom.dist from number of successes is 0 in number of trials. Actually, pwedeng diretso nata. Sorry. Number of 0 trials in 19 trials. And the probability of success natin is 002. Tama? And gusto natin cumulative siya from that point. So parang ganyan. So notice na ito yung probability of that sorry, hindi pala to mali tong sinake ko, no? This is rejected on the 20th na trial. So, ito yung probability. This one here is the probability that you have x equals 0 in 19 trials. Parang ganyan. Ito siya. Now, if we multiply this by so parang ang ginawa lang dito is ito siya. From here to here. Tapos, pwede natin gawin is multiply natin by 0.002 ulit. Kasi yun yung probability that on the 20th trial, magkakaroon na siya ng failure. So, similar sa ginawa natin kanina. And we should arrive at the same number, no? Same lang siya. So, ito actually, mas simple yung equation, no? Tapos, mas madali imagine. So, we just do binomial distribution. Ito, parang mas ano lang, no? Mas formulaic yung approach niya. Okay? So, okay ba? Nakuha yung difference. Actually, same lang sila, no? Same lang yung procedure. The binom that 0 fails in 19 tries for 0.002, the probability is just equal to 0.998 raised to the power of 12. So similarly, parang ito, equal lang din to. And actually, ito, equal lang din sa ano, no? If you think about it, this is just 0.002. If you did brute force method, raised to the power of 80. Sorry, 0.998. Tama? And true enough, you get the same number, no? If you want to be more accurate about this, dapat ito is the binom that this ng number of success is 1 in 1 trial. Probability of success is 0.002. Tapos true equal. Pwedeng 0. Parang ganyan. Which is just the same, no? Kasi itong value na to, this is just 0.002. Okay? So, lagay ako ng brute force din dito sa class. So, para lang makita nyo na yung brute force equal lang din sa binomial distribution. Okay, malinaw ba yun? And I think that's all the time we have, no? Pero before we end the session, and actually nag-extend tayo konti, pasensya na guys na. So, may questions ba? Malinaw yung ginawa natin ngayon? Lalo na sa last problem. Okay ba tayo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Meron namang mga practice problems doon sa sa modules natin. So, try doing it on your own. Tapos again, practice lang kailangan talaga guys, no. I'll probably i-send ko din tong Excel file na to sa inyo para at least meron kayong copy ng quiz. Etong ginawa natin today, yun ba yung sinasabi mo, Kenneth? Okay, sige, i-send ko na rin to para at least may mga materials kayo to practice, no? Actually, yung pwede pa lang hindi ko i-send na tong etong from problem 1 to problem 6 kasi doon sa binigay ko etong quiz na to, lalo na itong permutation combination, meron siyang may reference naman ako dito. So, just look for this etong mga website na to tapos na doon nakalagay naman yung solution to problems kung paano nila sinolve siya. Okay? So, pwedeng yung 1 to 6 kahit hindi ko na-send. Or sige, send ko na lang din para sigurado.
Sir, pag tinry po yung practice problems, pwede po mag-guide sa inyo through
Oo,
email.
oo, okay lang. Go ahead. Email nyo lang ako.
Thank you po.
Okay? So, with that said, siguro I'll have to thank you for coming in today. Tapos, I'll see you next week, Wednesday ulit. Tapos, have a happy lunch na siguro, class.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you, sir.